Hello there. I have decided to do a little bit of a sit-down chat, which may well turn into something of a rant, about iPhone filmmaking. So if you're not into little rants, this is probably not the video for you. I want to just kind of discuss it with you, open it up to comments and suggestions, because I've been struggling to like the iPhone 15 Pro for filming, and I'm not really getting on with it very well. So here is the iPhone 15 Pro. It's the Pro version, not the Pro Max, and it's got the USB-C, which runs at I think 10 gigabits, and you can connect things to it. And every video I've seen on YouTube about this is just, oh, all hail the iPhone. It's a cinema camera in your pocket. It does the ProRes. It does the log. It has the super cameras and the super stabilization. It is a wondrous thing to behold. And in part, I agree. But then in practice, I don't. And I don't know if it's simply that I'm doing something wrong, which is always entirely possible, or if it just isn't actually as practical as people are making out. I suppose it partly depends what you want to use it for. Now, my history with iPhone filmmaking is not terribly great. I took an original iPhone SE on holiday with me to New Zealand because I thought, great, easy portable, take some shots. Well, that phone had no stabilization built in, and the shots were all wobbly, and the audio was terrible. I can't remember. I have a feeling I used an external mic. I may not have done, but the audio came out with loads of weird pops and clicks on it. Even when I held the phone absolutely still, there were strange pops and clicks on the audio. I never got to discover what the heck that was. Anyway, that was an old iPhone SE. This is the brand new one, the one that everyone's raving about, saying it's transformative. Everyone can shoot their Hollywood blockbusters on this now. First things first, as it is, that is super portable. I slide that into my pocket, take it on holiday. Obviously, it's a wondrous device. Pull it out, start shooting. But it's not terribly practical. First of all, you get your fingers all over the lenses like this, not all over anything. It's very slippery, so you are, of course, going to want to put it into some sort of protective case. I think that goes without saying. Now, being a filmmaker, of course, you want a nice big chunky one with bits on it so you can add things on. So here is one from Niwa. I have no idea if that's actually how you say the company name, but it's got two E's in it, hence Niwa. And you slide your phone in. It's got a nice big rubberized bump around there. Slide it in. Shut it, lock it, and now your phone is protected. But you know what? Immediately with that on, it feels substantially bigger, and you're going to need a big pocket to put that in. And you haven't really done anything. All you've done is put it in a little bit of a protective cage, and suddenly it's starting to feel less portable point and shoot. Now, you may think I'm exaggerating because it is obviously still slim and tiny, but it does half feel a lot bigger. And now you start filming and you realise your hand is going sort of like this. You want a grip on the side, as every modern camera has some sort of hand grip. And obviously this cage does come with hand grips. So let me get one of those. These little handles just screw on the side. So it's got two of the handles, but in fact, I found myself only putting one on because I can quite happily hold this side just with my hand, hold it onto that. You've got a good steady grip, and you think, okay, well, now suddenly it's bigger still. And what is more, if I'm wandering around this and I want to put it into my pocket, not only does my pocket have to be super big, but what I really find myself thinking is I need some sort of shoulder holster. I don't want a big bag. I don't want some sort of carry-on luggage. I want something I can put this in. And can I find a bag that is sort of vertically shaped so I can just slide in down and pull it out by the handle when I want to shoot? No, I can't. I can find lots of little pouches where you put the whole thing in like that, but I have to take my hand off. I want it in my hand while I'm shooting, and then I want to put it in a pouch. Pull it out like that, and I need one that's that shaped and slim, albeit with a caveat, which I'll come to, and I can't find one. So if there are any bag makers watching who do camera bags or iPhone bags, videographers, maybe it's just me, would like one where you can hang onto your phone and slide it down into a pocket that is just slung around your neck. Something small, inconspicuous. I don't want a big bag, as I say, just something I can slide into with a bit of padding to help protect it, and then I can just whip it out like a holster and shoot. Now, this is all very well, of course, but if you are shooting in the ProRes Log, those files are big, and unless you are going to fork out a huge chunk of money on the iPhone with the big built-in storage, which I'm not because it's very, very expensive, you're going to need to shoot to an external device. And many people have done videos saying, it's very easy. You plug in a Samsung T7 SSD. That seems to be very popular. There's also an even smaller one from Crucial, and you just plug it into the USB socket, and now you are recording to an external storage. Brilliant, brilliant. Except, where do you put it? Now, I know you've got MagSafe here, but by the time you finish building this thing up, as I will come to, that's not going to cut it. So you're going to need something to hold your SSD. So maybe something like this, which is actually a camera holder, but you could put an SSD in there, and then a little cold shoe mounting on the top, and then that can go in there, and you screw that on. Great, now your SSD can fit in here, and loop round, and oh, hang on, the USB socket's there, coming out that way, and the handle gets in the way. So, well, now you need to buy a little adapter thing here at 90 degrees, and not just a little 90-degree adapter, but it's got to have the long bit where the USB-C male is to pass through the distance between the edge of the cage and the phone. There are lots of these. I wanted one that came out like that, but they all had the male part very short and the female part long. Well, you need the male part long to pass through the edge of the cage into the phone. So let's slot that in. Right, and now it comes out that way, so your SSD can be here and the cable can come out and round into that. Brilliant. And now you're filming. You think, okay, it is substantially less portable than it was a couple of minutes ago, but I'm filming my ProRes Log into my SSD. Job's a good one. No, it isn't, because once you start doing that and you're powering the SSD off the phone, the battery life on the phone, hopeless. I remember someone once describing a V12 Jaguar XJ, and they said when you put your foot down, you can see the fuel gauge doing that. That's like an iPhone, isn't it, to be fair? The battery life is not great, even on these modern ones, especially when you're powering an SSD. So now you need to plug power in as well to the iPhone. So, okay, well, I've got a portable battery bank, and I've got a long lead on it, and maybe I'll put this in my pocket down here, and I'll run the lead up to the phone, and, oh no, hang on a minute, there's a problem, because I've already used the USB socket to plug the SSD into. Where am I going to plug my power? I don't want to keep unplugging and plugging things to give it a squirt of power as I go along. So I now need some sort of USB hub with built-in power delivery, so I can have the SSD into the hub, the power into the hub, and the hub into the phone, and it can all be powered continuously while I'm filming. And there are a couple of these hubs. I mean, there's lots of hubs, obviously, but you want a small one again. And there's one from a brand I hadn't heard of, and there's also one from Belkin. And it's 4 USB-C ports. It's rated at 5 gigabits a second, which should be plenty for your ProRes video to come in. And you do want it to be the USB-C ones, because obviously they're smaller than the USB-As, and everything needs to be compact on this. So now you've got an SSD plugged into a hub, and then you've got your power coming up from your pocket in your power bank plugged into the power delivery on the hub, and the hub going round into your 90-degree adapter into your phone. That's not it though, of course, because you probably want good audio too. Good audio is crucial to good filming, is it not? And you think, well, no, that's okay, I'll just pick up one of these little adapters from Apple. It's got USB on that side and a 3.5mm jack, and the hub has got 4 ports. Now I'll plug it into a spare port. No, because this is mono, you see. These are designed so you can plug in some headphones and listen to music and make a phone call, and the phone call only needs to be mono. These things are only mono. And if you're doing any kind of nice, serious filmmaking, whether it's B-roll or anything, you probably want nice stereo audio. And the only compact stereo audio interface that I know of designed to go into the iPhone is the Rode AI Micro. Now, it is very, 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 very tiny, and it has a USB out, so you can plug it into the hub, and what you end up with is this Franken monster, which is a Samsung T7 SSD plugged into the Belkin 4-port hub with the Rode AI Micro on top. Look how small that Rode AI Micro is. It really is tiny. And I've put cable ties to hold the whole lot together, used the shortest possible cable using another 90-degree adapter out of the SSD, round and into the hub. Then you've got the AI Micro's lead wound round on itself and again into the hub. You've got the power delivery port there that I can run the power up to, and then the output of the hub goes into the phone. And all of that, obviously, sits on its little cradle. Let's get this the right way round. Hang on. Which way did I do it? I designed this to go that way round. Let's tighten that up a bit. And the other thing is it doesn't stay very tight. Hang on, let me just tighten that up. Right, there it is. That's pretty, isn't it? That's elegant. That's something you want to show to people while you're filming. You've got the microphone inputs there on the AI micro and the headphone output coming towards you, so you can put your headphones on. You've got the SSD plugged into the hub. You can bring your power up and plug it into the hub, and then the output of that goes round and into the phone. Comme ça. Brilliant. Now suddenly, you're portable, keep it in your pocket, shoot lovely ProRes Log anywhere you are in the world, has become this monstrosity of a thing, which is a spaghetti of wiring, but you need an SSD to store your footage. You want the AI micro to get good audio in there. You need the hub to plug all the bits into each other. What's going on? This was supposed to be something in my pocket. And what is more, this is really weird, when I was using this, and I don't know if I've got a faulty hub from Belkin or whatever, but consistently I was having trouble playing the files back from the SSD. They were juddering very, very noticeably. If I plugged the SSD straight into the camera, smooth as silk. Through the hub, juddery. Something was clearly afoot. And it suddenly occurred to me, well, let's just try each port on the hub. And you know what? There is one port on the hub, the second one across there that I've plugged the yellow lead into. If the drive is plugged into the hub on that port, smooth as silk. If it's plugged in on any of the other three ports, juddery playback. Now, juddery playback makes me nervous about juddery recording because you don't want hold-ups and bottlenecks in your storage. And it's so weird that it works on just the one hole on the USB hub and not the others. However, having found the one that works, that's the one I've plugged it into. The Rode AI Micro can plug into any of them, and the power delivery has to go specifically into the one marked power delivery. So I do have a iPhone 15 Pro Apple Log ProRes shooting setup that works, apart from the one time when I was shooting with it and one of the cables somehow came loose and suddenly the phone was shooting to its internal storage. I thought, that's funny. There's not much storage left on that drive. And it wasn't the drive at all. It was shooting to the phone. And I went round and, oh, yep, just something had come slightly loose, which I suppose, again, is an inevitability of something lashed together like this. So this is nonetheless the smallest kind of version of this I've seen. Loads of people have made videos about, well, you take a drive and you take a hub and, you lash it all together. It's just so ugly and it doesn't sit well, and I really wanted it flat against here, but with all that lot and a MagSafe, I think I wouldn't trust it to being magnetic. I want it clamped and gripped. So I think, apart from needing a bag for the whole thing that not only will take the phone but now needs to take the size of this Franken monster so that I can slide it in and bring it out when I'm filming, I think what we need is Rode. Rode, if you are listening, I think you're the logical choice for this. If you could make an AI Micro Plus, call it an AI Micro for the iPhone, that took your audio interface, adds at least a 1 terabyte SSD into the same housing, and then has a port on it to allow power delivery through, that would be one device instead of an SSD and a hub and the AI Micro, just an AI Micro Plus with built-in storage, even a fast SD card slot, actually. So an AI Micro with a fast SD card slot and, crucially, power delivery through so you can power it externally. That would be just one device, which would be a lot more secure. You obviously wouldn't have all these little interconnecting cables. You would just have the cable coming out of the new device into the iPhone, and if you wanted to plug power in, power, but everything else would kind of be within the box. I think it makes more sense for Rode to make that than for Samsung to try and develop an audio interface. It'd be very easy for Rode to take a little SSD or an SD card and put it into a newer AI Micro. It would in total, I reckon, be about the size of the hub, the Belkin hub, but you then wouldn't have that, and it would all just be a much better solution, especially if on the bottom of said device you also then had a cold shoe mount, so you just slot that one thing onto the top of your phone, and if someone can then come up with a bag that fits that, then I'll be a happy portable iPhone maker. But at the moment, I just don't know what to make of this. It's not something that I'm going to carry around on holiday because it's suddenly become too big and clunky. And if I were going to go and make any sort of paid work, I'd go and buy a proper camera, wouldn't I? A Sony A6700 is, I think, about £1,200. Admittedly, that's body only, without lenses and so on. This whole shenanigans came up to £1,200. The phone's almost £1,000, and you've got the cage and all the other. It's about 1,200 quid. And you have to say, okay, well, what for 1,200 quid will shoot you ProRes 422 in log? And there isn't a lot. I don't know if Blackmagic's old 4K cinema camera is now at that sort of price point. I haven't looked into their range. I've lost track of their cinema camera range. They seem to bring new ones out every 3 months. So if you wanted to do serious stuff, surely you'd go and buy a camera. And if you want portable stuff, this has stopped being portable. But if you strip off all the stuff that stops it being portable, you can't really have the scope to shoot nice audio in the ProRes, in the log, without having massive files. So I am perplexed by the whole thing. And you know what? That first time I tried filming, I plugged a radio mic into this. Where's the you see where that little cold shoe mount is on the top of that? I put a radio mic receiver, and then that could plug into the AI micro, and then put the transmitter on people I was talking to, and the audio was lovely. But the one time I plugged an actual microphone into the AI micro, I think it was, I got clicks on the audio again. And I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was like an old problem that I'd had on my original iPhone SE, but on this new one, clicks and random, and it wasn't that sort of, you know, when a phone is getting a call and goes, it wasn't that. It's just random pops and clicks in the audio. So I'm none the wiser. If anyone knows why you get random pops and clicks on a wired microphone into the iPhone, but the wireless receiver into it doesn't have the same problem, I don't know. I did say this was a bit of a rant. It's a sort of just how I feel, and suggestions for a better way of putting this all together. Gratefully received. Any suggestions for why my hub only works smoothly on one of its ports? Belkin, if you're watching, I'd love to know that. And Rode, please come up with an all-in-one. You could knock one out in an afternoon. The designers at Rode could make an AI micro with an SSD or SD card slot and a power delivery port. Literally, you could knock that out in an afternoon. I'm absolutely certain. So please, kindly do it and make it reasonably priced, and I will be your first customer. Thank you for watching, if you got to the end of this, and thoughts welcome in the comments. Cheerio!